Before I get into this, I have to mention that this particular episode had a few technical difficulties, so you'll notice like some chopping out. I didn't end up editing any of the context, but the audio dropped out like probably about 12 times. So if it seems like something is like missing, um, technology, I tell ya, technology. Uh, Yep. So, let's carry on. Welcome to the Lifestyle Chase. This podcast features high performers who have found a way to live their best life while balancing their health, wellness, friends, and family. Proudly hosted by me, Chris Little. Without further ado, let's get started. Chan Rin is a top-notch human being, and I'm very proud to call him one of my friends. In this episode, we are going to provide a lot of value for anybody that's looking to get out there and believe in themselves. One of the key industries that'll benefit is anybody that's got to rely on their creativity to thrive, and that can go for trainers, that can go for most small businesses, because you have to stand out. There's a lot of entrepreneurship out there, but most importantly, photographers, anybody that's part of the UrbanYeg community, you're going to benefit from getting to know more about Chan. Because if there's anything that I like to follow, or like a rule of thumb, if somebody is doing something and you're like, man, I wish I could do it like that person, just learn more about them, learn more about their story, and see how they got to where they are, what kind of habits they had to have, what kind of obstacles they had to overcome. Because that's going to give you a better idea of what that process is like. It's not always green grass on the other side. It's not always super easy, straight path up. But if you believe in yourself, and if you believe in what you do and it matters to you, then you can do it. Hope you enjoy, and be sure to share this one. Thank you. Welcome to episode 55 of The Lifestyle Chase. I'm joined by the one and only Chan Rin. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you, Chris?
I'm excellent. What's your morning routine like? What did you do today? When did you wake up?
Today, I woke up at I think like 6:50 or 6:45 a.m. and that's generally around the time that I'll wake up. And the reason why is my wife kind of gets ready for her day. She works full time. And part of my routine is I'll drop her off at her work downtown in the morning. I live in the West End, and so it kind of takes it just like that's just her morning routine. And then we'll get our we have a 5-year-old son, and so he goes to daycare. So we get him in the process of getting up, and sometimes that's a process in itself. Like you can't just go into his bedroom and like, hey, it's time to get up. He's out. And he gets grumpy if you're like you're in his room and just like you're there like, hey, get up, you know. So we have to like go into the room, turn on the lights like at a dim level, and just like, hey, let him know that it's time to get up. And he's has to get ready, put together his breakfast, and then I will put together, or like my wife Allison will put together like his lunch. That's part of the routine. Like it's I liked it better when he was just in daycare, where we didn't have to make lunches for him. Like that's when he was like he's still in daycare, but he does he's in kindergarten right now too. So we have to make his lunch for kindergarten, right? Yeah. But when he was just like up to age 4, they provided all the food at the daycare. So like it was just like one less step, right? But I don't know, all the parents listening right now, it's like it is a pain in the ass to like get that lunch ready. Yeah. So it's just that one more thing in the morning, right? But anyways, that's what we do, and then we leave the house by like 8:00, and then most times like so I try to plan my workouts as well. I work out at the Good Life, the brewery district downtown, and I'll time it so that I'll be able to drop off Allison at work for around like 8:30, and then I'll just go to the gym downtown after. But typically that's my morning. Nice. And then but if I have a shoot scheduled like 9:00, then that's what I do, and then I'm not going to the gym.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sweet. What are your 3 favorite things about being a dad?
I would say it's knowing that there's at the end that, like, you know, the mornings are, they can be a little rough, you know, getting things going, but I know that at the end of the day when I pick up Kiri, there's someone who's got like who's just kind of waiting for me. He's happy to see me. There's a smiling face that's just like ready to, like, he's ready to come home. So I just know that there's it's kind of like, and I pick him up at the end of my day. So but it's like, it's just a nice wrap up to my day. Like, maybe I'm, you know, sometimes, like, if I'm having a shitty day or something, it's like I just know that there's kind of like this light waiting for me,
Yeah.
you know, at like 5 p.m. right?
Yeah.
So someone who's just, you know, and then so it's just nice to have someone there, and, you know, to know that there's like gonna be at least a, you know, happy ending to your day, right? So so that's you know, that's nice. Another thing is, like, I'm right now, I was like, I'm 36 years old. When he was sorry, before we had Kiri, we were in kind of like a my wife and I were just very routine, doing our thing, but like I just, like, there was a few reasons, but like I didn't feel like my life was, if it was feeling fulfilled in my life. And now having you know, bringing on another life into this world, it's like it's very fulfilling for us as a couple and as a married couple to have just this new life in our life. And it's just like you're adding another just another person into your life that's that you get to teach them things, and you get to, and like it's interesting, like, as a parent, as you're teaching them something, you're learning things as well, you know. So to answer your question, the third thing I'd say about being a dad is, like, I enjoy some of the like, just sitting, like, the time with my son, like, just, it's like whether it be like something simple as watching TV. We love watching movies together, but I love having him right now as a kid, like as a 5-year-old, like sometimes he'll just want to come sit with me on my lap, and we're just like watching a movie together. So it's like, I think it's that, I would say it's like, I enjoy having that touch, you know.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. People say that you need people who have hugs every day, you know, they're happier.
Yeah, it's true.
You know, but if you don't have someone to hug every day, you know, like, it's kind of, it's kind of tough, right? But but if you have someone, you know, you're in a relationship, or you have kids, and it's like you have that it's that connection, you know. So, but I mean, I enjoy, there's a million other things I enjoy about being a dad, but I'd say those are probably 3 of my favorite things, I guess.
Awesome. I like it. Something that stands out to me lately is your recent photo shoot for Evolve. Some of those are looking pretty slick. And then you've done a lot of work for some other major companies and groups, like City of Edmonton being one of them. And these are the kind of jobs that a person might see and they're like, you know, he just got those handed to him, like it was just given to him. If somebody said that to you, how would you react?
That's a good question. Well, I would first, I would say first, like, I'd be humble about it, you know, but it's kind of like, I think people most of the time, they look at someone, say right now, someone who's like successful, and they look at them and they're like, they might, or it's just easier to see that they just, like, they're there, like I think a lot of times people forget, or even they forget to think about what the hell did this person have to do to be able to do what they're doing? So as an example, the city of Edmonton, huge organization, right? Like they are I guess I don't know. I mean, they're, you can consider them a business in the sense like they have revenues, and they have expenses, and they employ like city managers and people and whatnot. So it's an organization, but they have a full-on marketing team. They have a brand. They want to be working just like any company, like, or any major company. They want to be working with people who they know are going to be able to produce the quality of images that they require. And also they want to be working with people who understand their vision, and they get what they're after. So not only is the quality there, but are they able to deliver the content-wise, the images and the visuals that they require. So they're not just going to willy-nilly like tap Joe on the street, on the shoulder and say, hey, you want to shoot for us, right? And what's crazy about that too is, say with the city of Edmonton, they have hundreds of other photographers that they have their choice of working with, and I know that they have a pool of photographers that they work with, but you have to qualify to work with them. It's not just because like somebody's friend or something's getting you in. Like as an example, I didn't know anybody in the city of Edmonton, so like it's not like a friend got me in there, right? So I had to qualify for that. But just like if we're talking about Evolve, like you asked me, well, so John, he's a photographer himself. He has photographed for Evolve. He is very well aware of other photographers that he's got choices to work with in the city, but he has a certain brand to protect, and he has a certain look that he's wanting for his brand. So he wanted to work with someone who he believed would be able to produce what he's looking for. And as a photographer himself, I would say like he's got that discerning eye. Like he actually knows what he's talking about, So he's not about to like willy-nilly tap somebody on the shoulder and say, hey, can you shoot for me? And so I would say that for someone, if they were thinking that Chan's a lucky guy, he got this handed to him, I had to sit down in meetings to discuss what we were going to be shooting and whatnot. Like I have to work for every job that I do. Like, yeah. So I'd say like nothing is handed to me, and I built Vivid Ribbon from scratch, and like to this every day I'm working hard to earn people's business. So none of these jobs were just like handed to me, and like, yeah, if anybody out there is kind of thinking like, well, it's it's easy, or like, oh, someone that, and like they just get handed, it's like that's not the way it is. And it's like you have to work at, and like you have to think that every brand, every business they have people that like they have a choice of who they get to work with, and like they're going to be working with people who they believe would be able to produce those results. And so they're not just gonna, I guess the way to put it is like they're not just gonna hand people jobs because they like you as a person or something, right?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Well, I think what it comes down to is when a person sees someone who is having success, or maybe the product of their hard work just has that image of success, because like social media can be very deceiving. It gives them permission to like not try as hard, because they don't really think about how much effort that other person took to get to that point. Like they're comparing their day one with somebody else's day 6,000. Mm-hmm. So I like to sort of dive into the times when it's tough, because I find that if somebody's going to get something from a conversation, they're usually going to get something from the toughest moments that people have had in their small business or their creative pursuits. And I know that we've talked personally on some moments when it was like, holy crap, how am I going to get through this? So if you can think of like a day or two, maybe 3 days tops, when you were at your lowest motivation with the most things that could have possibly held you back, and what did you implement to keep moving forward? Like, how did that process go?
I mean, one really sticks out, in my photography business. But if I'll give you just a quick history here. In 2015 is when I decided to leave my full-time job and go full-time into Vivid Ribbon. That was October 2015, and then things were like really happening. That's why I decided to go full-time. Like, I had a bunch of business lined up. And so, like, December, January, February, like those winter months were really good. I worked with some big companies, and then something I wasn't expecting was so July of 2016. So just I don't know, like a few months later, I wasn't expecting this, but I didn't get booked for anything. Like that July. I didn't make a single penny in July, and that really hurt me. I guess as a business, as a as a father, as a partner, as a husband, it hurt me because I have a certain responsibility, like a financial responsibility to my family, that I need to bring in a certain amount of money per month, so that I'm sharing the load, that I'm helping to pay the bills that we need to pay. But so financially it was tough, because if I didn't make a penny in July of that year, that means that the money has to come from somewhere. We have to, you take money out of like your line of credit or something. But I also knew that what it also meant, that is like, well, if say it was like $3,000, if like $3,000 was coming out of our line of credit just to cover that month, well, to pay off that line of credit, I would have to make like double that the next month or down the line to pay off the money that we took out, right? So and at that time, like I'm thinking, what's the likelihood of me making up this money pretty fast? Like, because then I have to worry about the next month, that same budget. It was it kind of hurt me down the road for like another probably 3 to 4 months to try to make up the rest of that money to like pay back that debt. So that really hurt. But to answer your question, how did I, what did I do? For me as a person, I don't, if something hits me hard, I take a moment and go like, oh fuck, like this sucks. But I know that worrying about it, feeling defeated or something like that doesn't help the situation. So I'm a very proactive type of person, and someone who kind of is like forward thinking. I'm very optimistic as well. So I don't let that keep me down. It's like I'll give it like 5 minutes, right, to feel shitty. But then I'm like, you know what? I'm going to change this. And I kind of analyze what happened. Why didn't I get booked for July for anything? And the reason why was because I didn't understand at the time. I was going into my first year of being full time, and I guess I didn't understand the cycles that my own clients were going through. And what I found out was like, well, in July, that's typically when the people who make decisions in companies, they're going on vacation. So that's why like there's kind of a little bit of a lull there, because no large businesses are kind of making their decisions at that point to like move forward with some of their major marketing projects. So what I did then was like, you know what, this happened. I was like, you know what, I just need more people to talk to. I need to put myself out there more. So what I remember doing was I put together a spreadsheet, and I was like, okay, well, I need to talk to more people in my market, looking for potential prospects. So what I did was I put together this Excel spreadsheet. I was looking at just like internet searches about potential clients that I could be working with, and I wrote down who I was reaching out to. I wrote down the date that I was reaching out to them, and I remember firing off like 60 plus messages within a short amount of time after, like, so this is going into August now. And what that was doing was I was hoping that that I could pick up some new clients in August. And I remember it worked out that when you're cold emailing people or cold messaging people, there's a low response rate, but I think for me it was kind of like I was just kind of thinking, what can I do in this moment right now? Like what is the best thing that I can do, right? I needed more clients, so I just tried to reach out to more people. But after that, to answer your question, if there's some other days that kind of were rough. December of that same year, 2016, that was a rough month. But it was kind of like same scenario. Well, I didn't do enough of that prospecting ahead of time. Like if you're in a business, then you know that like as you should always be reaching out to people, like even if you're busy, right? That's part of you got to be like you got to be doing your sales, like you got to be doing things for your business. So I guess like I think what happened was like July got bad, then it got better, and then I kind of took that for granted, and then stopped pursuing other like new clients, and then then December kind of was starting to look like July, right? So it was so then what I did though in that December was I was like, fuck it, like, you know what, I was very determined. I was like, I'm not having this again.
Yeah.
Like I'm not having a 0 month again. So what I did was I did that. I just continued my spreadsheet. I kept track of people who was reaching out to, and then I remember getting what it is. Sometimes it's luck of the draw. Sometimes what it is like a company. I'll just ask I'll ask a company like, hey, if they need any photography for their business. And I remember this one of my large clients, they actually said, yeah, actually we were just in the process of looking at revamping our website and like getting some new photography for our company. So they basically said, you messaged me at the right time. And I was like, great. So that year, so that was 2016. So going 2017, things were a lot better.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it was basically me, to make things better was just me not just sitting there doing nothing. It's like, what do I have available to me? What resources do I have available to me? What can I do to make this better? And I did.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like you get hit with a shitty day, a shitty month, and you're like, all right, that's kind of out of my control. Now what is in my control? And like, just like you said, taking that spreadsheet, kind of taking that 5 minutes to sit in the shit and then get out.
Yeah.
And do things to make the situation better. If you could describe one reason why you started UrbanYeg, what would that one reason be?
So, yeah, that's a good question. I get asked a lot. I've been thinking about that. I would say the one big reason, or the biggest reason, is I've always felt compelled to give back to people, and UrbanYeg is my way to give back to people. And so I would say for those who are listening right now who don't know what UrbanYeg is, UrbanYeg is a community. It's like a volunteer community of creatives that I started in 2015, and this was actually probably 8 months before I went full time in my own photography. And what I was thinking was, for me, I had this passion and desire to give back in a way that I could. And so, most people think of giving back as sort of like contributing to charity of some sort is by like, I don't know, giving money or something. But for me, I was like, well, I don't have a ton of cash, you know. I have a young family. Like, I don't have a. I was working full time, but like I wasn't getting paid very much at my full time job. So I was like, I don't have a ton of cash. But I was thinking, well, what are my passions right now? Well, I was starting. I had a part time photography business. I knew that I wanted to go full time in photography, and I was thinking, well, you know what? There's a gap in Edmonton right now where there's people who are there's lots of great photographers in Edmonton right now who there's just no platform for them to get to know each other, and there's no and I was thinking for myself, as someone who's starting off in photography, I had no mentor in photography. I had no coach, and I was thinking, well, I see a lot of great talents in Edmonton, but no one's connecting them. But at the same time, I see a lot of young photographers starting off, and I was thinking, well, a lot of people are in my position. Why don't I be the guy to create this platform that can connect them and create some like mentorship and some community around that. And so I started UrbanYeg as a way for me, as an outlet for me to give back. It was I knew that I could give knowledge. I had lots of knowledge. I had time. So that was it was kind of like my opportunity, my avenue of me, like that's my ability to give back to community. So that was really the biggest reason why I started UrbanYeg.
I like it. What inspired you to come up with the name Vivid Urban?
I get asked that sometimes too. So yeah, but like, you know, when you think about it, there's a couple reasons. Okay, so I knew when I first started off like the business, I didn't want it to be like Chan Rin's photography, you know, because like to me it was like when I was thinking about getting into photography, I looked at the market and I was like, there's a ton of other photographers out here already in Edmonton, and I need to set myself apart, and and like to me personally, this is a personal thing. I just think it's kind of, I don't know. I'm sorry to the people listening about it, but like it's kind of lame to be like your first name last name photography.
Yeah.
You know, I think because I worked in marketing, I went to school for marketing. I love like branding and whatnot, and I was like, you know what? There's just something lame if there was Chan Rin photography. So I was like, I need to make a brand. Like I need to make a brand out of like, but not my name, but like I need to make a name that makes people think, or like make that like it makes people ask questions. So how it came about was, so my wife Allison is my business partner, and we were thinking, okay, well, what can we do? What kind of photography business name can we make up? And I remember us like just lying down in bed one day, like just thinking about, this is the start of the business, and we were thinking, well, what about like so for photography, people think of like, vivid, something's got to be vivid, like for pictures, they got to be, there's something strong, and it's got to be like compelling about it, right? So it's got to be vivid. But then like we're kind of thinking, how lame is it if there was like vivid photography? Like there's already, if you search up on Google, there's already people like called vivid photography. I'm like, I'm not gonna do that. So we were thinking about, okay, well, what else can we add to it? And like, how did the ribbon part come up? Okay, this is my wife Allison came up with this, and she was like, okay, if you think about presents, like as a package, if I came to you and I like wrapped up a gift in like newspaper and I presented it to you, how do you feel about that present? Not knowing what's inside, but already just by looking at the presentation, how do you feel about what's inside?
It's just newspaper. It's like, what's this?
Yeah. It's like, well, Chan, what are you giving me, right? What's this piece of crap that's going to be in the inside, right?
Yeah.
But if I put together the time to wrap up this, like, your present in a box, I chose something like shiny wrapping paper. I put a nice bow on it. I did like ribbons, and then I presented that to you, and you still didn't know what was inside it. How do you feel about this gift now?
I get super pumped about that.
You're right. You would say there's something special about like what's potentially inside, right? And that you're judging that based off of this of what it looks like on the outside. So that was the kind of idea with Vivid Ribbon, was like, we want people as a like to look at our brand as like, well, before you might see our name, you might see our name before you get to know us, but if like you don't get the chance to know us, at least like you are seeing this brand, and we want you to get excited about this brand, and we want you to get excited about that before you even see the images that we've produced, that you're excited about and you're pumped up about the level of quality that you're gonna get from us. So that was the idea. Is kind of just getting excited about the package, the presentation, the brand before you even get to see the pictures.
And I like about how you talked about presentation and brand and appearance and all those things, because my next thing I'm going to segue into is people sort of assessing or identifying or welcoming people into your life, and on what terms do you base that on? Because basically we have a limited amount of hours in the day in our life. At some point we need to draw the line of like what people we are going to do business with or go to barbecues with, all these things. When you're coming across a person for the first time, what are 5 things that stand out to you? What things resonate? What things kind of differentiate someone who you align with versus someone that you don't?
That's a good question. Well, I think you're right about it's about assessing. It's like your time. You start realizing as you get busier in whatever you're doing, you start realizing that, okay, well, your time is limited, and you can't just give everybody your time. Like, or like you're talking about, maybe you got invited to a barbecue or something, or like so many people are gonna want your time, and you're gonna get invites to go to a party, a friend's party, a birthday party, some barbecue, and you need to assess like, well, what are my priorities right now? How do I determine like if I'm gonna be going to this barbecue? Or should I be doing something that's should I be spending time with my family? Should I be doing something for my business, or something that I'm like something else that's like very important to me, right? So I've always been a people person, and it's my personality, like the relationships, and so I've just like over time I've been able to get a good sense of people, and I would say what matters to me, if you're asking like how do I know like if I'm gonna be if I'm gonna get along with this person, or like if I'm gonna be like if we're gonna be friends or something, like, or if I'm gonna be like, or like how do I know if like they're aligning with my values and whatnot. I like to have a conversation with people, just to like, if I meet someone, people tend to typically ask, hey, if I've met you, Chris, for the first time, I'd ask you, hey, Chris, what do you do? You tell me you're a personal trainer, and that's surface stuff, right? Those are like factual information. But I like to get to know people, and I like to get down to like, as we start getting further into the conversation, I'll get to know if like our values align, and those are things like, so I would ask, not directly, but it's like, I'd ask things like, where do you see yourself? Like, these are, I wouldn't say these exactly, but it's like, I would try to be digging down into like, what's important to you? It would just be through conversation about, I would find out if the things that matter to you, if they matter to me. So if you right off the bat, like, there's guys that you'll see at the coffee shops, these guys in suits, like, it's funny kind of thinking about this, because I see it, there's guys sitting in a coffee shop like a Starbucks. They're sitting in like a nice suit, and they have this book, and this book is like some type of success book, and I know exactly, who these guys are, right? And I know exactly what motivates them, and it's money. And so if I take that person for example, and I'm like talking to them, and I find out like, money is the driving factor in their life. It's like, I've already made the decision. Like, I don't like you and I don't align, because like money is not a huge motivating factor for me. It's not like it's important, but it's not the driving factor of like what drives my life. So that immediately just like I already know that you're not someone I'm gonna spend a lot of time with. But if I find out if so, like Chris, if I'm talking to you and you're telling me that you want to give back to community, and I would ask you how are you doing that, and you might be saying, well, I create these podcasts and I want to share the stories of other people, and all of a sudden it's like, whoa, that's interesting, because giving back to people is important to me. So I would find out a little bit more about your podcast.
Yeah.
What you're doing. So we would have more conversations about, like, we'd go deeper, but and it doesn't take an hour to find out this information. It might only take like a 10 minute conversation, but you can, there's intuitiveness, there's your gut feeling about people. But essentially it's, and that's not, I'm going to say this right now, this is not about figuring out if like somebody's bad or good or something like that, because it's like it's about you valuing your own time, and about knowing that you got a ton of people in your life, and about it's about who you're going to be spending your time with, and like who you're going to be giving your time to, and like there's going to be people in there going to come in and out of your life, and that you only have a finite amount of time, as you say, that why would I give my time and like to people who don't like they don't align with my values, right? So but I would say, to answer your questions, like you can, I think through just like a simple conversation you can find out if somebody's values align with yours. And I guess what's important to me now is like I only do want to be spending my time with people who their values align with mine.
Yeah,
it makes the most sense.
Totally. Well, I mean, it comes down to you want to be the closest, best version of yourself as possible, and if someone's going to make you further away from being that, then it's working against what you need to work towards. So I know for myself personally, I need to be surrounded by people who make me better at being myself. If it's going to direct me in a direction where I am suddenly further away from what's most important to me based on someone else's perception of what I should be, then that is not going to end well. And it's something that I think everybody has experiences with. I think everybody will run across a path in their life where they start to identify that what they're doing or an influence around them is causing them to stray away from their core values. And it's super important to identify. And I've come up with a question that I like to ask people because it kind of tells me a bit about them. In the last 7 days, what's the thing that happened to you that you are the most proud of?
That's a good question. That is a good question. So in the last 7 days, what am I most proud of?
What stands out the most?
It's for me. It's not gonna be. So the last 7 days, it's not gonna be business. Because like right now, it's like. Right now, business is business. It's just like this is what I do on a daily basis. But I'll say. It's gonna be the UrbanYeg team. So right now in the UrbanYeg team we have 13 people on the team, and these are all volunteers. These are all guys from the community who share the same passion and desire to build a community of people who want to make positive impact in the creative community here in Edmonton, and they're on the team right now, and I'm the director of the team, and I'm responsible to lead and manage this team of volunteers. But within our group, we have other leaders as well, and so we've had challenges in the past, and it has to do with taking a volunteer group of people and doing something bigger with it. And when you operate from a volunteer position, I don't know if you've worked with a volunteer organization where you were in charge of leading other volunteers, but it's different than when you're getting paid. I'll say that, right? When you're getting paid at work, people have, they're bound to do what they've been paid to do. They kind of have to do it. But with a volunteer organization, you're working with people's passion. You're working with people's, and I've already identified this with my team, is that we operate from a place where there's other priorities well ahead of where UrbanYeg fits in their life, and I'm trying to work with that kind of small piece in their life. And so what I did last week was I put together a document that was really, what I was trying to do was get everybody back together and just getting people to remember why they joined the team. Because I think with 13 people on the team, and everybody lives in different parts of the city, and we don't work together on a daily basis in person. We work remotely and through messaging. Things could get lost, and people can forget their why as to why they're doing it. And so what I did was, I think it was last Thursday, I spent 4.5 hours putting together this document, talking about what, just briefly, well, it was what is UrbanYeg, how does it work, what are we doing, and I listed a bunch of things about what have we done in as a group, as UrbanYeg, and what are our challenges right now. And one of them was that there was it's that we just haven't been putting, as a team, we just haven't been putting in the time and attention that it deserves, to get some real progress in it. And then, but what I really wanted to do was at the end talk about our why. And I actually put it as a title, at the end of this page, is talk about the why. And I put about 4 different points about why, why does UrbanYeg matter? Why are we here? And I sent it out to the team, to the entire team, and I said, hey, let me know what you think about this. And afterwards, I got a few messages saying that, one person said, hey, Chan, and I know that I haven't been giving this the attention it deserves, but, and I know that you're only asking for 1 hour a week, and I totally know that I have 1 hour a week to put into this. So basically the point of me doing this last week was to inspire my team, but get them to remember their why, why they're doing it. And I think it worked. So, as a leader, I had to put in that time, that 4.5 hours, when, I should have been editing work and whatnot, but I put in this time so that I could help inspire my team to get refocused. And I think since last week, I can feel the energy within the team that it's people are more engaged. So I'm proud of that.
Mm-hmm. It's cool. It's cool that out of everything you could have picked out, you're picking out a moment where you cultivated strengths in other people.
Yeah.
That's why I like that question, because it identifies things about people. And I want to give our listeners a little backstory about how you and I met, because it's kind of cool. I think we probably would have had our phone call conversation probably around your quiet month in 2016, I think, because I got hired on for YEG Fitness, and TJ got you to give me a call for the phone call interview to kind of see if I was a good fit. And I just remember we talked for a good half hour or so, and you asked me questions about what I was passionate about, what I liked about fitness, and what my backstory was, and I told you about my goals to essentially just break into the industry. having a hard time doing it. But I had these things that I wanted to do, and something that stood out for me was that I had identified people that I had met so far. You're probably going to meet a lot more people. You're probably going to get a chance to collaborate with more people, and you'll notice how it'll kind of build your career, and it's exactly what happened. I think we've known each other for almost 3 years now.
Yeah.
So that's kind of cool. Like, you've been around for the whole journey.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, no, actually, when I think about it, yeah, I remember having that phone call with you, and there was like 3 other people that I called that day and just had this conversation with. You know, I was explaining the opportunity that we had at YEG Fitness and what was what was available to you. And I remember, yeah, we were having that conversation about you were working at the warehouse at the time, and you were explaining, because that was one of my questions, was like, what do you want to do, you know? And you told me that, well, definitely you don't want to be working in the warehouse, that like you're trying to get out of it. And I think we were just kind of going through like, what are you going to do to get out of that? And you were explaining some of the options, or kind of the paths that you were thinking of taking. And yeah, and you know, at that time, so if this was 2016, then I would have already been working with YEG Fitness for, I guess, 2 years. So I think what I was explaining to you was basically the opportunity that I got. So so with working with YEG Fitness and kind of starting that opportunity with TJ, there was that I that totally helped my growth. You know, I got to meet a ton of people within the health and wellness industry here in Edmonton that I don't think I would have gotten that same opportunity had I not been involved with YEG Fitness. And I think, I think what I was trying to explain to you was that like that really benefited me, and that I was trying to explain to you that, yeah, if you were to join the YEG Fitness team, that you would have those same opportunities, you know, and that it would cultivate your growth, and it would help you along in your journey, you know?
Yeah, it's just cool to think back and be like, yep, called it, nailed it.
Yeah, but you know what, it's you know, I think that it's totally true that if it's these experiences, and it's about opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
That's opportunities. It's opportunities that will help you figure out what you want to do. It's opportunities that are going to help you get better at what you do, and it's basically the more people that you get to meet in your life, the more opportunities that's just going to grow from there. And you know, but that's why, as well, also, like, if YEG Fitness wasn't there, I wouldn't have met you. I don't know if
it'd be pretty hard to cross paths otherwise.
Yeah, like, I don't know, you know, yeah, like, I don't just you know, in the health and fitness, in like the health and wellness industry, while I enjoy working out, I enjoy that fitness lifestyle, I don't do a ton of reading into, like, in the city right now. Like, I don't actively try to get to know who's who in the city, like, right now. But I'm saying, or maybe, like, I'm saying in 2014-ish, up to 2014, I was never really, it wasn't hugely important to me at the time, I guess, like, to get to know the people within the health and wellness industry, even though that was something that I was interested in. But being involved, you know, with YEG Fitness, I think it helped to, it kind of pushed me to get to know more people, but it provided me that opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
In a very natural way,
yeah.
You know, in an organic way.
Totally. In your photography career, what is the gig that brought you the most joy? Just in doing that job, you felt happiest?
That's a tough question. I would say there's one that kind of stands out. I would say it's the whole process, you know, that that kind of stands out and makes me feel good about what I do. And what it is like this whole thing is like, I'll tell you how it came about. Shoot for a home builder in Edmonton, and how that came about was my wife, she had this like, she was like researching things to do with our son, and she just searches, and she found this one thing was like a grand opening in near like Windermere, and homes. They were gonna have like this ice slide, and they were gonna have this horse-drawn carriage ride around the community, and like that excited her. And so I like, yeah, that could be fun for Carrie, to go down the slide, the ice slide. So we go to this place, and I look at the show homes, and I'm like, wow, this is like, these are beautiful. And I we have a good time there. And as I'm walking around the house, I see that they have on the TV screens, they got these pictures that are showing pictures of like other homes. And I'm looking at these pictures and I'm thinking, hey, like someone shot these pictures for this company. I'm thinking like, I can do that. Like I shot, like interiors before for large companies, and I'm thinking like, why didn't I think of shooting show homes? So it clicked that day. And so then what I did was I emailed the marketing team at this company, and it just so happened that it was like, well, right place at the right time. She, the marketing manager said, hey Chan, thanks for messaging me. And she said, yeah, you know what, we are in the process and are looking at adding more photographers to our roster, So what happened there was like, I still had to prove my value. Like the job wasn't just like given to me. So, but the opportunity was like, the opportunity came out of nothing, I guess. Like it came out of me showing up to this fun event, right? But this marketing manager gave me an opportunity to show what I can do. So I did. Like I worked my ass off. I did this I did like our first shoot. Provided these amazing images, and she told me that she was very happy with the results that she was getting, and that she said she would like to continue to work with me. And that was like, oh my God, thank you so much. Like that was like me passing a test, that because she also had other photographers working with her at the time, so yeah, she could have said no to me too. So I was thankful that that opportunity was presented there. And then so through that process, I've worked with this company now since 2017, so like a couple of years now, and they're one of my largest clients right now. So this kind of sticks out to me is that they are the type of client that I would say they're the kind that I really, really enjoy working with, because they're easy to work with. They pay on time. They pay me really well, and I feel comfortable with the marketing manager, the coordinator I work with, and it's the communications there. It's easy. They tell me what they're looking for. I provide it, and from what I'm getting out of this, what I'm saying out of this opportunity is that why this sticks out is like, if you was there, at this event, like it kind of clicked there. I took this opportunity to reach out, and then I was able to show my, and it worked out. So I guess essentially it's kind of the whole process. Like to actually gain something of value to you, like to actually do something in life, you have to take a chance. I took a chance by reaching out to this company. I took a chance in to putting in my work when I was being tested there, and I'm just constantly developing this relationship with this client. So it's nice. It's just like, this is, if I could have more clients like them, or all of them be like them, but in the line of work that I do, there's, it ranges in terms of like, the types of relationships you have. Like, like some people hire me that they just want to, it's kind of like, in and out type of thing. They just want me to go in, do the work, and it's like, I'll do it. If you want to pay me to do that, then I'll do that. And if they're like, they just kind of call me when they need me, but I'm saying those types of clients, I don't have that same relationship with this like home builder. So
yeah, totally. And that correlates a lot with like my industry as a trainer. The thing that gets me is I'll see like a paid advertisement and it's like, are you a burnt out trainer? Are you drained from your clients? I'm like, no, actually, like I get a high from working with people and being around people to an extent. Like I also have to have things in my day that are for me and able to maintain that. Like I have to be very picky. I have to have certain routines that are in play. When I'm working with my client, I am fulfilled by making other people better. Like fully. Like more resilient mentally, able to believe in their abilities physically. It's not my going to get stronger because I believe in what I do, but I'm not going to think of it as but I'm going to look at the byproduct of how their life changed, and that's where I'm going to see the most value. And that's a lot in the same as how you in how good it feels to work with someone that is with you.
Yeah.
And sees the value in you that you see in you, which makes
absolutely. And what you're describing there, where it's like it's not transactional, right? I think that's the kind of relationships that are going to be most valuable and the most fulfilling. Is like, so like as I said, like even if I relate to you, like, so you have some clients in personal training where the kind of relationships you have, you might have a core group that you have a tight relationship. I don't know, or it's just some might feel more transactional. I don't know, like even though like you put in your best effort to not make it that way, but maybe it's because it's not you, it's them. Like they might want it to be more transactional, right? And for whatever reason, and that's okay. But what I'm saying is that there's gonna be a spread, like there's gonna be a range of the types of relationships that you have with your clients, and like you can only try your best, but like you're gonna have that range, and it's going to be there. You can't have that super amazing relationship with every single one of your clients. It's just I don't know. Like I don't think it's realistic to expect that, because and the reason why I say that is because there's the other component. Like you can control what you do, but you can't control what your clients do, right? So it just, those are factors that are kind of, I would say, out of your control. So. But it's definitely more fulfilling when you're focusing on that core group that like like what you said, they value you for you, right? And that's what I'm trying to get to, is that trying to work with clients that are in that area.
Totally. And, well, it's that full spectrum, because I have clients that have followed me in a big loop-de-loop around Edmonton, and I have clients that come to see me for one session. They just need a refresh. They need to make sure that they're doing a cable row right and deadlifting and bracing their core, and then that's what suits them. So that's what suits me, because I'm there to cater to them.
Right, and you're gonna give, when you see that client, you always give your client 100%, right? And but you're gonna, and that's all you can do, right? That's like in the sense that like you're gonna you can't ask for more.
Right? We can hold the roadmap, but it's their roadmap.
Yeah.
So I gotta go to our last question, which is one that I ask all of my guests, and it's if you could give one piece of advice on how to authentically live your life to the fullest, what would that piece of advice be?
I'm gonna take some time to think about this. I think it's gonna come down to living, what matters to you. So what matters to me is not gonna be the same as what matters to someone else, right? So what I'm saying is what's authentic for me is not not necessarily, it might not be relevant, or what other people might feel is authentic for them. So, but if you're asking me like, well, for me, how do I live my most like authentic life, then it's staying true to your values, like what matters to you. And for me, what matters to me is giving, is being able to make a difference in the lives of other people. And there's a good reason, like for me, why does that matter? Like I didn't just like appear out of thin air one day where it's like, I woke up and it's like, hey, I want to make a difference in other people's lives, or because that's what it's popular on social media right now or something, right? It's like, no, I'll share something that I'll share why is that. I came to this country, my family came to this country as refugees from Cambodia, and we came here because there was genocide happening in Cambodia, and we came to this country with nothing. So we came here as like landed immigrants and as like refugees, and my parents had to work for everything that was given to them. That they have. Sorry, like, and I'd say so like nothing was like given to them. I would say like other than the opportunity to be here. And that, to me, I take that to heart, that the hard work that they've had to put in, the sacrifice to be where they're at today. But I also look at, the government of Canada gave my family an opportunity, like to even, to allow us to come here as refugees. That's very special, and they gave my family that opportunity. And so, like, I grew up poor. I know what it feels like. And I know what it felt like to not have a coach, to not have a mentor, but I also know that there were people in my life though, like that it did matter with that there was, a coach and a mentor in my life. So I had that later on in life, but when I had that, it was like, wow, that's an amazing feeling. So, and what did they do for me? Well, they made my life better. They enriched my life. So, I want to give back to people because it's something that's ingrained in my soul. Like, that's something that I'll never forget, this opportunity that was given to me. So, to me, that's living my authentic life. And it's like, well, yeah, so I've been feeling this way since I was a kid, like to be a leader, to make a difference in people's lives, and basically, well, you got to make a choice to do that. So I'm living it through doing UrbanYeg. I'm I'm a mentor to the creatives, to the group, and I'm giving back in a way I can. So that's so to answer your question, I think like that's it. It's like what are your like living your core values, but not everybody knows what that is. Right? Not everybody has that maybe strong of a feeling as they might not have figured out what their like core values are and whatnot. And it's like, but for me, it's like it became apparent at a very young age, and so I have been, living that authentic kind of staying true to my values since I was quite young. So, and I'm very happy and fortunate now that I have found this this opportunity of being able to give back through UrbanYeg.
I like it. This has been good. So thanks for joining me.
Thank you very much, and thanks for listening.
Larry, we'll catch you soon.
Hoping that you enjoyed the episode. If you could do me a huge favor and share on social media or leave a rating, it really helps build traction for the podcast. And it's honestly, at the end of the day, it's just a nice compliment to know that our conversation was heard and somebody got some value out of it. Otherwise, on the other end of the speaker, when we are talking into the microphone, we're not necessarily all that clear on who is on the other side. So it's just nice to know. So if nothing else, send Chan a message. Tell him it was cool getting to know more about him. I think he'd really appreciate it. Thanks for listening. Thanks for the support.